Welcome back to Next on Comics. Bear with us. We're going live today. I'm Daniel, Mark.
David, Terry,
Indiana.
Uh, Today we're going to start off by doing Detective Comics 1006. Mark.
I really enjoyed the book myself. He's saying that we're live right now.
Yeah, I turned mine down.
I didn't.
Yeah, I turned mine down.
First time live.
Well, that was about 15 seconds.
Took up some time. I really like this book. I like the fact that one of my favorite back characters showed up in it, which is Spectre. And like the way that the story flowed, it was a good read, but it was a quick read.
Yes.
What do you think, Terry?
Yeah, the art reminded me of the old Kyle Huston's art. It reminded me of Kelly Jones. Everyone knows that artist. He did Batman and the Spectre. The art was very reminiscent of that. Kind of mind took me back to that time. Yeah. There's a mystery in there about why the Spectre's doing what he's doing. I was kind of a little confused, but I like the book too. I've been reading this book for quite a while anyway.
Yeah, and the way it starts, you've got, and it doesn't tell you yet, at the beginning of it, whether it's a cult or what is going on, but it almost looks like there's, until you read it, there's multiple spectrums coming out to, and they're going after Corbin. And what was that confusing saying you said? Or no, that's you that was talking about the confusing saying, wasn't it?
The host must die. Long live the host.
Yeah.
And it was. Don't sit there and you show up late. You don't text, you don't call for days at a time, and then you just walk in and expect to know what's going on.
Yes.
If his ribs was exposed, I bet it's everywhere right now.
Yeah.
It's like another kid.
Yeah.
But the artwork in it, I'm pleased with the artwork. The cover, I love the cover.
That's the cover of the week.
Yeah,
That's what I heard.
But I enjoyed the story. Like Mark said, it's a quick read. You get into it, and it rolls. And then you're into the short stories there at the back before you realize it. Just like that.
That's a bad idea.
He's full to put Undertaker up here.
Alex, are you watching the chat? Just so happens that my oldest son is here with us tonight, and he's doing tech for us. May I add, Blaze better than you did, because we're live right now, and we're not going to have to.
And he said it was really easy, so. But I agree with the flowing. It went by quick, but the art did want you to stay there and look at it as you read through the panels.
Yeah, it was good all the way through.
Yeah, I'm gonna give the art about 8 because it was appealing to you. There was some rough spots, but
I would be right there with you.
And the storyline right there at the 8.
Yeah, it was just a good book all the way through.
Yeah,
and that's cover of the week.
Mm-hmm.
In our opinion, everything new that came out this week, and that's by everybody who showed up on time. We decided that this was going to be the cover of the week.
You're gonna get hate mail from Mama Yankee. I'm just saying. She don't like me, so she's just done with that.
This time out, it's not our fault. He did it.
He did it every time. They just don't see the behind the scenes that drives us to this.
I can't help it. I had to work.
Excuses.
You was on Facebook a whole lot to be having work. All I saw was, well, I'm talking to y'all in between the sheets, so.
Between the sheets.
That's what he said.
We had.
Anyway, I've been getting Detective Comics since issue 975. I've since then. I read up to 1,000, but you know how life is. You get a little bit busy. So the last 6, I hadn't been able to read up until I got to read this one today.
But this one starts its own little story.
Yeah,
This
it's
is
jumping out.
it's a good start for it.
For anybody that's not getting it, this would definitely be a good spot to jump on.
And you're only 6 ahead of the 1,000.
Yeah.
You know.
Which we still have 1,000 sitting on the shelf here. If you don't have one, can't find one from your local comic shop, give us a holler. We've got a few left in stock. We'll be able to hook you up, hopefully.
You have the deluxe edition in stock now?
I do have the deluxe edition in stock now.
You've got the following issues all the way up to this. Yeah, none of those here.
Yeah, because I have pulled back up to $9.90 my box to pick it all up.
I've got a 1,000, but it's in Arizona right now.
Yeah, it's with Albert, and I think Albert's watching right now.
Hey, Albert, hurry up. I'm playing. Take your time. Make it good.
So you also have a flashlight of yours?
Yeah. He's got my flashlight. It's in Arizona, too.
We'll travel back.
Light's been more places than you have.
No. It's made it out that way farther than I have, but I better not say that.
He said your light's on vacation.
I've never been handled by a red velvet before, so and it has. So.
Let's try to keep it PG.
Well,
Damn it.
as the reason I said handled and not other things.
Overall, I recommend the book.
Yes. Like I say, it's a good starting point, so just go ahead
And a good story. It's been a while since the Spectre's been involved in
Something,
anything.
yeah. One of my favorites. I'm glad to see.
and as Rob said, the artist dude,
Norse.
no, the other dude, they like the social maniac.
Highfeld?
Yeah, Batman is an anchor, so you got that.
That we want to wrap on his neck.
Let him swim with the fishies, kicking puppies. That's bad, kicking puppies.
What do you say, kicking puppies? Do you say something about kicking
Just-
puppies?
just-
You really need to watch our videos, especially when you're not going to make it here.
I'm just getting off track here.
Yeah, just hush.
Hey, I'll be next weekend, because I'm there at 7:30 in the morning, and I get off before.
Well, I may not be here.
Um,
So then what you gonna do? Nothing. That's what you're gonna do. Nothing.
He is the anchor for the show.
He's our Batman.
But
You're our Logan.
Yes!
great book, beautiful cover. I did not get a chance to read this particular book here, but Daniel and the professor did, and I'm hearing some good stuff from them about it. So this is for Josh Ferguson.
Yeah, he wanted us to do it last week, but he didn't get it in on time, so we thought we'd do it for him this week. I'm not a Wolverine fan. Just never really been a character that drew me in, but that was good. I hate to say it. I mean, it's one of them things. It's like having to admit Aquaman one is good. That'll never happen. But no, it was a good read.
I enjoyed it. I mean, this is a book I picked up was going to buy. The cover wasn't the best, and I was like, I got too many books, I just put it back. I read it now, and it's like, well, I just like to get the trade.
Yeah, well, I'm like that. I believe, when Trey comes out,
It was fantastic. I was really impressed with how the story flowed, and the humor was in it, just how it flowed. Everything flowed just perfect. And how I always like Old Man Logan. I never read the original Old Man Logan. Now I want to read that. Go back, get that trade and read that. So I kind of read up to what's happened here.
yeah. Well, what I liked about it, it had its serious side, and then it had its funny side, and they mingled it good. It wasn't overbearingly funny or too serious. It was just a good
Now,
combination.
is this set in the same universe as Old Man Logan?
It apparently, like again, I'm not a Wolverine fan, but what I've gathered from it, Professor might be a little different. It's set in his time frame as the Old Man Logan, but something happened that he had to go to a different time to kind of prevent what happened to his universe happening to another universe.
So it's one of the multiverse.
Yeah, so you're going to have
A split in time.
one of his co-stars is Hawkeye, and it's a really younger version. You know, you can tell he's not really the developed character that he was or is, like in say per se the movies or something, or in the new runs, but he's still Hawkeye. You know,
How would you compare it to the Old Man Hawkeye run?
Just the way I read it, it hooked me like Old Man Hawkeye did when I first read it. First, you know, you let me try it in 3 issues. I looked after issue 1, and I was like, now I want to read issue 2. You know, I mean, some books I get, and I'm like, you know, yeah, I can wait. But I was like, I really want to see what happens now. It kind of drew me in. So I mean, they're gonna have to get the issues or get the trade, and get the other Old Man Logan that reads up to it, so I can figure out, you know, what happened in issue number 7.
yeah, because I'd like to know what happens next.
What
You know,
brought him
I'm
to
not
this?
saying
and the other books.
I'm not a big fan of that character, but I would like to see what's going to happen. And it's just a 12 run.
12 issue run.
So that's not something everybody can pick up without.
Yeah, and then, like I say, what issue is on it now? I mean, it's pretty close to being in.
It's probably at least halfway.
I think it's up to, it'll be up to 10 here just short.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah.
So it ain't going to be too much
Issue
longer
eight.
till trade comes out of it, you know. But
The art is like so for me. Not bad, but you know, but the story just carries you through. You don't really
well, I
worry
like the
about
art.
much.
You know, it wasn't as good as the Batman or the Detective, but it has to me, it had that anime cartoony look. You know, and it kind of different, but I liked it. I'm going to say it's at
It
least
helped it
7. Yeah. Yeah, you wanted to take some time and invest in just looking at pictures this time, didn't you?
Yeah, I mean, I can at least agree with you. Like, it is kind of a different take on the art. But, I mean, it does pop out. It's a little more brighter
Yeah.
colors and everything than, say, they used in Old Man Hawkeye, which was more neutral, dull tones.
Yeah, and there's a spot, you know, no spoiler, but there's a spot in there that Hawkeye kind of was embarrassed / mad and bright red tones to his face, you know, where you see the emotion in him. I like that.
Yeah, the cover. You know, looking at the cover art there, but
But on the cover,
it's totally different.
Yeah,
But I meant just the art, the way it is with the black and white and gray, and then the red splattered on it.
yeah,
You know,
but it's totally opposite on this side. I don't like the cover on it.
That's kind of what
myself.
threw me off a little bit too.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think
And
Hawkeye
I
is-
have a bad habit for that, seeing the cover and judging the inside
Yeah.
of the book by the cover.
Right.
And it always, you know, is either going to be better or worse. You know, it hardly ever is the same.
Well, if I didn't read it for this review, I'd have never read that book.
Yeah, no, I know I wouldn't
Yeah,
have done
just
it.
pass it up.
And the only reason I read it is because, you know, well, Indy wasn't here, and Black Hammer, I hope he's all right.
He's MIA right now.
We haven't heard nothing from him, but I hope he's all right.
Yeah.
But he's going to do it with Jonathan, and we just stepped up.
I'm glad I got to read it.
Yeah, me
I
too.
really, really enjoyed it.
The Old Man Hawkeye run itself grabbed me from issue 1. You're saying this did the same thing. Old Man Quill did not. I had to work my way into that book. I had to, because let's face it, I don't care anything about the character. So it took me a little while to pick up on that.
Yeah.
But it's turned out to be a good run. All these Old Man books have really turned out to be.
I wasn't a big fan of the Quill, which I jumped in at number 3 or something like that.
Well, it took up to issue 3 for me to get into it. But
So, with this Dead Man Logan, how many is that with the Old Man Logan series? Is that like 2
3, ain't it?
series? 3?
I think Old Man Logan might have had 2 runs.
yeah, I think it did. So that would be 3.
Old Man Logan actually turned into this. They kind of stopped and just started with number 1.
Yeah.
Dead Man Logan.
They had to think. And
That's
ended
why I
up
kind of
with
want to read
character.
it, just to kind of see what the backstory of the man, how he got to this point. You know, how did he get back to the past like that?
Somebody saying something?
Green Lantern. I've really liked Green Lantern. I've been getting it since issue 1, and it's been a little bit different, but I've liked it. I mean, they took him away from being a superhero to being a cop, and his beat just happens to be a certain sector of the galaxy, and I've enjoyed it.
Yeah, I picked up number one when they first redone it. Liked it. It wasn't my cup of tea, but it wasn't bad.
Yeah.
And then we all do our research online and read up on stuff. What I've gathered, it's been pretty good.
Yeah, I've enjoyed the art. We're up to issue 8,
And it's been good so
It's
far.
introduced some new characters that are kind of interesting.
Yeah.
One of my favorite characters is the lantern with the volcano forehead, of all people.
Must be Indy.
At least I did say it would have been a better story with Simon Baz.
Let's not go there.
Because we're live.
Anyway,
Just keep it PG-13.
Yeah. well, I initially said PG. If you want to go 13, I can step it up.
Well, hey, whatever you said, I was just paying you back.
But it has been. It's been a good book. Have you been picking it up, Terry?
I picked up the first couple issues and just kind of stopped. That's the way it is with me. I pick stuff up and I stop. It's just I get too much and I cut back. And I find stuff
Yeah, that's my problem.
I mean, I'm sure it is. I liked what I read of it. I probably would have liked it, but just can't read everything, unfortunately. There's so much more to like.
Which I've worked out a kind of a rhythm. I have a few that I keep up with runs, and then I'll pick up like a 12-run issue here. Then when it's done, there's always another one popping up. So
Super Sons. Super Sons has been one of my favorite miniseries so far. Old Man Hawkeye beats it out, but the storyline in Super Sons and the play between those two kids has been great.
it has. And I hate to see this one more issue, and we're done for now. They're always jumping in, but I haven't ran into a duo like them before.
Mm-mm.
The way they play off of each other, it's been awesome. And I was lucky enough to get the first appearance of Super Sons at the Comic-Con.
Yeah.
I was like, wow. Yes. I believe, did you find it for me or was it Albert?
Well, I think Albert found it.
Yeah, Albert. Well, thank you, Albert. I appreciate it.
I found another book we both should have bought.
Yeah. Yeah. For a good price. But I read both books. And I'd hate to put a winner on either one of them. I mean, what would you say? You read both?
Well, I never read the Super Sons.
No, the two we were doing.
Oh, the two of them I read there? The story-wise, definitely I'd give the Dead Man Logan over the Batman Detective, even though Detective was good. The story, the art-wise, definitely Detective was the better. I definitely plan on one way or other reading those Dead Man Logans.
Well, I'm more of a DC fan, so I'm kind of I can't
It's that old man,
clearly.
kind of like Mark said, the old man books. Last year, the Old Man Hawkeye, if I had to say my top 2 books, it was in my top 2 books of last year. And
Well,
I could not wait for another issue of that. That's one of the ones you just could not stand to wait for. It was so good to read every issue from 1 to 12 never waned anywhere. Even when there's a guest artist or writer in a couple of issues there, that book never faltered.
I mean, I wasn't a Wolverine fan, but I'm glad that I got a chance to read it.
Well, breaking news: Black Hammer's okay. He just had to work over today.
Okay.
So he just messaged me.
Well, that's good. Because we are family here, and we do worry about each other. And hear from each other.
Except Jonathan. He stresses us all the time with what he's doing.
I don't do anything.
That's why you're stressing.
Let's don't go there. Because you had us all wound tight earlier.
Because you don't do anything.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Or maybe he done too much. We just ain't figured it out yet.
But, we were talking about Detective Comics, and while you were up away from the table for a few minutes there, we were kind of discussing something back and forth. All the Robins get pretty good credit. Dick, now Rick, is Nightwing. Jason's Red Hood. Tim is getting ready to get a brand new persona. We don't know what it is yet. And Damian is currently Robin. But what about Stephanie Brown? She was actually Robin for a few issues there, Tim quit and walked away from it. And Batman brought Stephanie in, who was a spoiler at that point, to be Robin for a few issues before Tim came back. But Stephanie never gets any credit.
Does she really deserve it?
Well, she's a good hero in her own right.
You know,
Yeah.
Batman picked you to be Robin.
yeah,
I
but
guess you do.
apparently she wasn't good enough for the art, the writer's stuff to put her on anywhere else.
Now she went back to being a spoiler. She's still a character.
Oh, okay.
I haven't seen her lately much.
She was Tim's girlfriend at that point in time in the books.
And we ain't talking about the one with the big thick glasses and stuff. Are we?
No,
That was Carrie.
Well, what about her?
That's from Dark Knight.
Well, that's from a
Dark Knight Returns.
pretty much an Elseworlds tale.
Yeah. not really canon as far as Robin's go.
And Terry brought up a good point. Let's talk about those variant
Well,
covers.
the over-glut of variants. They haven't learned their lesson from 20 years ago, apparently. So, I just Googled too many variants and you ought to hear all the complaints. They are cool. I mean, there's a lot of nice variants in there. And I buy some of them just like the mark. Don't ever buy them to think they're going to be worth $100. But there's just so many. It's just over-glut. You worry about where it's going because there was a big drop back in late 90s, early 2000s. Comic book market was a big hit. It was Image and independent books doing it then. Marvel DC weren't doing that many. Now they're the ones doing it.
Yeah.
And
We saw that there was going to be a new Spider-Man #1. Didn't we say
another
that earlier?
Another #1.
They're getting ready to do Spider
It's
One
strange.
again.
Well, that's a whole different thing. The #1s, but it's like they're trying to. I've never been the one that's been in it for the money.
Not me either. It's a
I've always
story.
collected what I like, and I spent a little bit more on that deceased cover from Midtown than I wanted to, but it had Jason and
You just
Joker on it.
want it. That's
Yeah.
what you care about.
But no, I mean it could wind up being $1,000 and it still be in my collection. I like it. But for them doing all these variants and starting back at #1s, they've took the collection out of it.
Yeah.
In my opinion,
I
it's
think they're going to restart a book.
Yeah.
Like I'm reading Justice League right now. They started again after done with it.
and I understand that some of them,
Yeah.
like the Amazing Comics #1, they're going to hold their value. But there are some out there that was kind of mid-range, and when they come out with all these other #1s, they've dropped down.
Yeah.
And it's hurt the collector's side of it.
Yeah, because they just dropped another reprint of Immortal Hulk #1. Didn't they? How many issues? How
Well,
many different variants of that?
there's
the
a difference
reprints,
between a reprint and a variant cover on the #1s. I mean, it's like Detective Comics or Batman when Jason Todd came back. The reprint, the second print on that book is actually higher valued than the first one. But what we're talking about is, the 1 in 100 incentives, and things like that. Where a comic shop, a small shop like we are, we can't afford to order 100 books and set on it. I mean,
Well, look at the wedding issue with Batman, where I'm a big Batman collector. Issue 50, supposedly the big wedding. There were 50 different covers of that book. Same story, 50 different covers.
Yeah.
And nice cover a lot of them.
Yeah,
You can afford them.
right.
The going price season they came out, $300, $400. It's a rich man's game on that kind of cover.
Well, it's like that Midtown exclusive. You could got the deceased, that said deceased on there for, I believe it was $10. Well, for $25, you could have got the same exact cover minus the deceased.
Yeah,
The virgin.
Yeah. Then you could get the same cover as the virgin for $35, but it was just a lighter tone, just a faint touch of different color there. So my broke butt got the one that said deceased across it.
Yeah, I mean, average coverage person's broke most of the time. They work an average job, they can't buy that stuff.
Yeah.
I hate to see a cover I like they can't get. It's like, man, I'd love to have it.
Yeah, I mean, there was a couple of those 50s that I would, I got a couple of them, but 50 coverage, and then what was it? There was another one that came out that there was even more than that. They're somewhere up in near 100 different. But I can't
Detective
remember.
1000.
But see, now
Probably.
I can see
There's a
them
lot for
doing
that.
certain covers for certain places like the Midtown Comics.
Yeah.
You know, I can understand that.
Doing a shop doing an exclusive
Yeah.
cover,
Yeah.
you know, I can get on board with that, especially the fact that you can get them for $10 or $25.
Yeah. Yeah.
But when you're talking about having to order 100 books to get one variant cover,
Or the 1 in 1,000s,
Yeah, there's
ridiculous.
those
Yeah.
out
Yeah.
Yeah. Dark Knight or Dark Knight 3. Master Race had 1 in 1,000 Jim Lee cover, I think it was.
Yeah.
Who the heck ordered those? You could actually go on eBay and buy it cheaper than ordering all the books to get it. But it's still expensive either way. But you can buy them.
and we're not trying to discourage you from picking up your favorite variants or
Oh,
by your
no,
favorite
no.
artist by any stretch of the imagination. But what we're saying is, your average comic book collector, the person who's in it for the love of the books, cannot afford to get every single cover. And don't go broke trying to do that. If you're collecting for the love of collecting, get what you read and read what you collect.
And don't speculate.
Yeah.
Especially if you're broke. You know,
Yeah.
that's just going to make you broker.
It's
You
like,
know?
using the lottery as your retirement
Yeah.
plan.
It's exciting when you get a book, you find out, oh, this book's $50 book now.
Yeah.
But I don't care when I buy it. I don't buy them thinking that.
Yeah.
I buy them with the mentality like it's probably just going to be cover price.
Yeah. I mean,
Just like because I like it.
I
So
buy
that's
it
a
for
cool
the art.
cover, I'm going to buy it
If
because I
it's a
like it.
variant cover that I like, I buy it for that, not for what it could be down the road.
and some of y'all think that we may be crazy here, but I sold Terry an Immortal Hulk #2 and 3, both books, for $15, so he could continue on with his collection
That
of
was a
that
steal.
run.
That was a steal. Okay.
Well, I'm going to brag on you a little bit. I bought a Teen Titans 12 at the time, what we thought was a first print. Already up to, I believe it was a $60 book at the time. I had to put it back in my place, and he still let me have it for cover price, knowing. I can find out that I got kind of
You still got a deal on it.
butthurt. Yeah, I still got a deal.
$10
Yeah,
book, I
yeah.
paid 10 for my second print.
But just saying,
Yeah.
I don't know about other local comic shops, but if you're looking for a comic shop or just, a lot of people want to order online,
Right.
I'm telling you, Green Dragon's the way to go.
And you know what the record for variant covers is? I did this research. Amazing Spider-Man 666 had 250 covers. Overkill. 250. That is a record for variant covers. And there's somebody out there that's got them all.
But why pick that number to do it?
Yeah, I thought that was odd.
Yeah,
Because we're doing research.
And if there's a variant cover out there that you really like and just can't afford, buy the blank copy, take it to your local artist,
Yeah.
or
That's always
an Albert Morales, send it to them, Kevin Hawkins, and let them do it. You're going to have a one-of-a-piece kind. It's going to look probably better,
I agree. I agree 100%. Support your local artists too,
Yeah.
because you may spend $40, $50 to get one done, but at the end of the day, you've got the only one of that cover in existence.
And not speculate, but if they ever make it big,
Yeah.
just saying, it's going to be worth a whole lot more than that.
Well, I tell you, I see
Visual
Albert
cover.
Morales going there. I believe he's
Yeah.
already getting there.
Well,
He's getting out.
we've been blessed to have some really good artists come to our conventions. Albert's one of them. Yeah, really good guy. Kevin's another one.
Kevin Hawkins is already known well.
Yeah.
A lot of people know him. Mainstream, good artist.
He did my Immortal Hulk #1 for me at the past convention.
We had Rob. He's gonna.
Yeah.
If he'll stick in there, he's gonna mount something.
He's going to be big. If he keeps going the way he is with his painting, because for the short amount of time he has been painting, he's already phenomenal with it.
So, well, let's move on. They had stated that, I guess it's already happened, but they had stated at the beginning of the week that they was going to general neutralize Mjolnir, Thor's hammer.
How do you make a hammer gender neutral?
Pink, make it pink.
Well, that ain't what they're doing. And that wouldn't even, that would be leaning more towards the feminine side, or These guys that think they're feminine.
But wasn't it already? Didn't Jane?
Well,
Foster,
when
yeah.
Jane Foster picked it up, the inscription on the side of the hammer changed from "He shall possess the power of Thor" to "She shall possess the power of Thor."
So that sounds pretty gender neutral right there.
Yeah, I mean, it changed itself
Yeah.
when she picked it
Right.
up.
To whoever is worthy.
But
Yeah,
with as much people going around saying I'm not male or female, I'm this and that, they decided to put they,
Yeah,
which covers a wide, broad base.
but I don't see why you needed to actually do that because it already showed
The
other
one person's
people
going to be able to attack
beside
two at once.
a male can wield.
Well, to me, that's Marvel trying to appease to a crowd that instead of hurting their feelings, they're hurting a lot of other people's feelings. Because to me, it was pointless.
Yeah.
You know, that
It
was
was already.
it was already there. If you wanted-
self-corrected.
If you wanted a general neutral hammer, make a general neutral hammer. You know,
But it's
make a
saying-
rainbow one.
If it's saying they, that means only one person can order at one time, only one person can order
Yeah.
at once. So that doesn't make sense either. You know, I think the way Mark was talking about it, that was more like right just by saying she because it was a she picking up, and then if it was a he again, it's a he.
yeah.
Instead of just going and making it.
So what is the
They.
actual quote on the new hammer? Like whoever shall
It's
lift this hammer, they
whoever
control the power.
Lift and possess this hammer.
They,
He.
they,
Yeah, all it is, all they're changing is he to they. And in this, you're
Why
right.
can't they just do that with a regular hammer?
Well, why
Why
can't
does
they
it have to
just
be a brand new
let
hammer?
it do like they did Jane? Whatever picks it up, he, she, they, it, whatever yard.
Because when Jane Foster picked it up, it changed. The inscription on the side of it changed from he to she. And I've got no hate for Jane Foster as Thor. I thought that it was a good character.
Yeah, different take on it.
Yeah,
And it, why have gender neutrality when it corrects itself?
Yeah.
By who is worthy. Instead of putting they can put
Well, they
whosoever is worthy.
they makes it seem like not only more than one,
it just sounds cool.
but it sounds like anybody can be worthy.
Yeah.
You know,
As long as they lift the hammer,
Yeah.
they still have to be worthy enough to lift the hammer
right.
in the first place.
And, in the movies, two other people were worthy. Vision and Captain America.
well, three. Helena, she stopped it.
Well, she stopped it and destroyed it because she was more powerful than it was.
If you stop it after he threw it at you, you're powered enough to pick it up. I'm sorry. But that leads on to the new poll that's out that DC is doing way better than Marvel.
As far as
sales.
sales, I saw that where they're doing the sales in comics. They had 7 of the top 10 books the last month, I think. And in the last 2 or 3 months, they have, out of the last 4 months, DC has outsold Marvel 3 out of the last 4 months.
And I don't want everybody to think we're just haters here,
No,
because we're not.
No.
But for the love of everything, quit changing stuff. If you want something, come up with a creative idea and make it. Don't take something that we grew up with and loved all these years and change it.
That's like how they wanted to change the name on the X-Men now because there's more than just men in the X-Men, and it's Marvel Girl was in the very first group.
she's been there from the beginning.
Yeah,
She was one of the first 2 recruited. I mean,
and just
Yeah,
changing the name off of that is
Well, changing anything is not changing what it is.
no.
I mean, you can have a pile of crap there and throw, gummy bear sticker on it. It's still going to be a pile of crap.
So we're talking about Supergirl now.
Aquaman.
They Marvel went through that that period where they were changing everything. Yeah. The Falcon was Captain America. Jane Foster was Thor, which I thought the best change was the Jane Foster. I thought that.
Yeah.
Had Iron was it Riri Williams was Iron Cans for a while or
Ironheart.
Yeah. So they were changing. They were replacing everybody for a while. That's
But I mean,
just
Doctor
changed.
Doom was also Iron Man at the same
Yeah.
time as Riri Williams.
Somebody saying something?
I wanted to know if anyone knew what the great Bill Sanders said
Beta Ray Bill's. I don't know what Beta Ray Bill's hammer says.
Well, Albert, do you?
That's a very good question. I'd like to do some research.
I
on
would
that.
say it'd probably have like some neighing horse noise on it, considering it's Beta Ray Bill.
Would you quit with
He's the
that?
only one ever. He's the only one that's ever wielded it. It was
But-
made specifically for him.
Yeah.
That was just made for him. I don't know if it was anything on it or not, or anybody was even.
You're hating on one of the best characters in Marvel,
Beta Ray Bill?
Beta Ray
I
Bill.
know, I love Beta Ray
I
Bill.
think
He's
he's
awesome.
getting ready to bust with the next Guardians, is what I understand. He may be getting
Yeah, and that's where we messed up.
Quasar.
$8.
Yeah.
That'd be interesting to
And
see
had
which
at least
version
2 copies
Quasar
of
they
it.
use.
He said that he did not know when he supposed the hammer would fall under they.
That hammer would fall under they, I guess.
I don't know.
Well, no, it's Beta Ray Bill. It's still a him.
I
mean,
think that was just specific.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it was just specifically made for him.
I think it
That
was.
It
for
was
anybody else.
specifically made for him.
And let me throw some comic hate out. While we're talking about Thor, I'm gonna hit on Unworthy Thor for a minute. What did the Ultimate Thor's hammer say that our Thor did not pick up when he had the opportunity to because he was worthy to pick it back up?
Yeah.
Nobody knows.
I can't remember now. It's not going to come to me. I read that, but I just.
I thought
It's
that
not gonna come.
was a good read.
I remember somebody giving me a stink eye last week and had a little attitude in their voice.
It was.
You had to bring that up again, didn't you?
It was a good read to the very end. He drew you in and so disappointed you. I read it too.
Is it just because that he didn't pick it up that he hated it?
No. I hated the way the whole story ended. You build up,
But up to that last issue,
Anticlimactic.
you was into it.
Yeah.
And it was real good.
It was good up
Yeah.
until that last issue, and then it destroyed everything that you had read.
So the
in the
unworthy
issue.
part on the main title didn't give you a hint of anything will happen.
You're being a smart.
Good job, Dan.
Yes, I am.
I haven't read it. I agree with Marcus. I went through the same thing.
No, I understand where you're coming from, and I feel the same way about Endgame.
Yeah. Well, I
It was all them movies leading up to it. That last one just disappointed me bad.
What do you think about them re-releasing?
That's what I was.
I got
Yeah.
you would.
but
There was parts that I liked.
new tech guys chiming in
Oh,
here.
yeah.
But
And he's my son. I can talk to him how I want to.
what do you think about them re-releasing it just to knock off Avatar's #1 movie?
I think it's crap. I think it should have been in the movie theaters to begin with. That should have been one of them things that just went straight to DVD. I could have watched it, hated it from there, instead of waiting for the anticipation. But no, for them to re-release it, and like you said, we all know it's just so they can knock off Avatar.
And Avatar was a good movie. It deserves to be where it is.
It does.
The #1 spot right now. I mean,
Because that was the one-of-a-kind movie first time.
Yeah.
I mean, you didn't have nothing like that.
Yeah, and that was 10 years ago now.
Yeah.
That it came out. I can't believe it's been 10 years. But
The
they
CG
are
wasn't
filming
impressive, but I thought the story was enough.
4 Avatar sequels in a row right now that they work back to back, 4 of them that'll be coming out.
Well, I hope they come out and blow Endgame out of the water.
well, let me go ahead and say this. Sequels usually are not any good. Let's hope that they correct the problem with this. I liked all 3 Captain America movies. I was really into the character all the way through because the first one was a good setup story. The second one was a spy thriller, pretty much. And then, the third one didn't disappoint either.
Civil War was very good.
Well, to me, Captain America, the first one, is right up there, if not #1 of my favorite superhero movies, because it was the most comic accurate movie so far. Followed really closely by Wonder Woman.
Yeah, I may switch places with those two and put Wonder Woman in the #1 spot, and Captain America in #2. But they're so close that I really couldn't tell you the difference between them.
Well, which one was your favorite Captain America movie of the three that we've had?
It was probably the second one, Winter Soldier. I really enjoyed that movie from start to finish.
That one had great flow to it and action scenes.
Well, I'm not going to take nothing away from it, but the first one was my favorite. I'm going to have to go Civil War for the second favorite. Just that fight scene and the triangle there, between Bucky and Captain and Iron Man. It was just, I thought it was well played, written.
Not going to throw any love out to Batman 1989.
Michael Keaton.
For a comic accurate.
Well, that is one of my
Man,
favorite
really-
Batman movies ever.
That's the
Mine too.
I love it. If I'm
Batman
ever going to rank movies top, that's going to be like right there, if not number one. But as far as comic accuracy, nah.
I didn't have that. It was good. I still like that.
I love the original Batman movie, but Batman
That
Returns.
was not the original.
Well, the Keaton Batman movie. That one was good. But the Batman Returns with Michelle Pfeiffer, Danny DeVito, our future Wolverine, that's probably my favorite Batman one. Just because of, I don't really want to say the cartooniness they've had of it, but it just,
Yeah, but Jack Nicholson as the Joker, you can't get any
I did not
better.
say Jack Nicholson as a Joker was bad. But I'm just saying, with all the characters that they used in the sequel to it, those three actors, the three villains of that, compared to Jack Nicholson, who was so phenomenal at that time, I think their movie was better with their three flowing.
Let's look at this from a logical perspective for just a second. Okay, there has not been a good Catwoman since Julie Newmar.
What's wrong with Michelle Pfeiffer?
She was no Jerome by any stretch of the
I know, because she's Michelle Pfeiffer.
Not even close.
You mean the Penguin? Danny DeVito, of course, looks built for the Penguin, but I didn't like the way they did the Penguin in that. It was just kind of grotesque-like.
I kind of liked it.
He wasn't. He wasn't the.
He wasn't
the monster like.
No.
Like he always did. I like that better than that.
Yeah.
That one, he was more of a spoiled brat.
And I don't blame
Turned
Danny DeVito for that. That's how they wrote it. Yeah. But I like the first one better. I mean, I liked it so much when it first came out in '89. I had to see it 3 times to Jack Nicholson so I could just laugh at the funny stuff.
And
was
see,
one that
that's
Gunny had
that's
the
what I
first
liked about the Jack Nicholson Joker. It was that gangster style.
Yeah, he was superb.
He had just the right amount of comedy to him, and
Jared Leto did the gangster style.
Shut up. We're not even going to talk about that. That's not the Joker.
He wants to get kicked out of here.
Well, outside big screen, what about the guy who's played the Joker on Gotham? Because I actually thought his character development was actually kind of neat in that show,
I'm glad you brought that up.
even though I haven't seen the final season.
There was Jerome and what was the other one? Jeremiah. They was actually haters out there, and if you're one of them, you're pathetic. They was actually haters out there that was mad to see Jerome go off and Jeremiah get the role. It was the same flipping person playing both parts. I'm sorry, grow up a little bit. Same character. That's it. That ticked me off. Really? You really going to nitpick something that much? The same guy playing each role. The acting is still there. I'm sorry.
And he, as far as that goes, he was good in that role.
He was. And he played each role good.
And the laugh that he had when he first came on there reminded me of the Mark Hamill laugh. And,
For the animated series.
for the animated series. And he
No,
said
when
that-
he played in Michael Keaton's Batman that one time.
Ding! One for you.
Now, what I would like to see with the Batman movie, and I hate to see what all they're doing, but I would like to see a pure Batman going up against the pure villains and all of them. Just like the Adam West. I'm talking about the the Joker, Catwoman,
Yeah.
Penguin,
Yeah,
all of
four,
them. Yeah.
At the four major ones in Batman 1960s.
Well, what about what y'all think about Tom Welling wanting to play Batman in the Arrowverse?
I can't picture Tom Welling.
He was
Clark Kent.
Clark Kent.
Okay,
Smallville.
Yeah. He
I
is
could
wanting.
actually see him do.
Yeah, he is wanting. He's older now and got that.
Yeah,
look.
but could he?
I think he could, because when he played Clark under the influence of red kryptonite,
Yes.
he was a good bad guy.
But could he pull that grid off?
I think he did.
Okay.
In those episodes.
Yeah. And some of the work he's done since then, I think you could see that. I could see him doing that. But he is petitioning and putting it out there that he would like to play Batman on like the Batwoman series or throughout the DC Arrowverse shows coming up. But I could see him doing that.
The Batman movie, though, they still haven't said anything about the villains, but it does seem like for any big major thing, they do constantly use like the same villains. Like, how many times have we seen the Joker? How many times have we seen the Catwoman? We've had 2 live versions of Bane. God forbid, I can't tell which one's worse. But I mean, maybe this could be a chance to give some of the lesser-known Batman villains a spotlight for a movie role, because there are a few of them out there that sadly do get overlooked.
Give us some examples.
Well, I mean, we saw one in Gotham, Mr. Pig.
Professor.
Professor Pig. Yeah. There's... that would be an interesting thing. How about ventriloquist with Scarface?
That would be pretty cool.
That would be actually kind of interesting.
Because you've got that whole split personality thing going.
Yeah. Whichever version of it you have, whether you have the very quiet guy like that they have portrayed in the animated series, or the later comic book adaptation that actually had the outspoken woman behind Scarface with it.
Well, see, that's the reason I asked you. You're still sticking with those pure characters. You're not looking at Steppenwolf, and because I understand as a team they need but Steppenwolf shouldn't have put on a bigger fight as he did
Well, you got
in the movies.
Morrell said, well, there was only one Scarecrow in the movies, and he was lesser known.
Yeah, he was lesser known. He did show up in all 3 of the Nolan movies, though.
Well, I don't want to talk about the Nolan movies. I don't.
But I thought the guy that they did pick for him actually did have a good look for Scarecrow in the first.
Mad Hatter
Well,
would be another good one to use.
You were talking
Yeah,
about. You were talking about the ventriloquist. They had him on Gotham.
Let's step away from Batman for just a minute, because I want to touch a little bit on another TV show that's going, and that's Krypton, and the portrayal of Lobo in that.
Perfect portrayal.
Well, we can't say perfect.
Well, to me, it's
They don't have the
Sound
build.
like Raven Myers, brother.
He's not quite as big.
No,
yes,
I mean, it shows his strength in different aspects. As he goes through. I mean, you can tell he's no weakling, but he's just not as big. So I can't say perfect, but a 9 out of 10. Easy.
They over-exaggerate their size. You almost say this guy's read the books or something.
Whoever wrote this character, thank you.
Yes.
Well, whoever, I can't remember the actor's name, but you could tell that he has read the comics. He took his time to do his research, because he says stuff that the only way the character would know is through a comic.
Yeah, it's all the stuff he says in the novel.
Yeah.
So I said he's had to have read the books or studied it.
Well,
Well, when they
He-
first
he never
introduced,
tried.
he went through this whole list of stuff that your normal person wouldn't have known.
No, and I
you
was like,
had
yeah,
to,
that's
yeah.
right. I remember that.
Yeah, I
Very
mean,
happy with that.
I think that in the last 5 years, that's been the best portrayal of any DC character out there. Has been Lobo in Krypton.
Now he's getting his own series, apparently.
And I was watching it last night. I would like to see the guy that plays Superman's great grandfather maybe play a Superman role sometime. He's got the look, he's got the size. I don't know if he's got the height, but he's got the, you see him developing into that figure.
Yeah.
Through the, but they don't take their TVs to mix them with their movies. So.
Is Krypton on the DC app? Because I don't really watch regular TV, but I am planning on getting the DC app.
You've got season 1, and then they will let you have an episode at a time, several weeks after, and you've got it for just a few days, for a week or so, and you can watch it, and then you can move on to the next one.
Because I was interested in it, especially seeing how they actually brought in Brainiac to the series. He just looked absolutely creepy.
Brainiac is fantastic in the movie or in the show. I mean, Brainiac is Brainiac. I mean, the way that I remember him reading him in the books growing up, a scary character who can basically come in and rip a whole city out of a planet and put it in a jar and say, okay, this is mine now.
But what I like about him, especially the portrayal they're doing that, he's scary, but he's also calming. His voice and the way he talks. And,
it's supposed to be
yeah.
an analog type voice that he's got.
And Doomsday. They haven't, really done too much, but, they've showed him. He's...
That's the right Doomsday.
I've seen the pictures of it. It looks okay. It's a lot better portrayal than the thing that they called that in the Batman v Superman movie.
K-Troll.
Exactly that.
Yeah, but when they shot him into space, the nuclear bomb, when he came back, when he changed, he looked like Doomsday. To me, he had the scales over his eyes, transformed into what Doomsday, to me, was supposed to look like. A lot better than what they started off with.
Well,
that thing was as disappointing as a thing that they called Deadpool in the X-Men Origins Wolverine movie.
I like that.
You would.
He just got finished telling you a few minutes ago that Wolverine was not one of his favorite characters, so he didn't pay any attention to Wolverine. But I've really enjoyed Krypton, what I've got to see of it so far. Probably the most imaginative DC series out there right now.
I'm going to put Swamp Thing right up there with it.
That's my big reason to get the DC.
Pretty close to its roots.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong, it's a fantastic show, but it's a horror show.
Yeah.
It's not a comic show.
Yeah.
It's set up the way that Swamp Thing was when, Vertigo had him. I mean, it's a good show. I'm not taking anything away from it. I've enjoyed every episode of it I've seen. But as far as a comic book, I'm going to give Krypton the lead on that.
Well, Krypton's, Swamp Thing defends Krypton. There's never been a backstory like this, so they're having open, free range of doing what they want, which is making sense. It's leading up to, where certain stuff's happened. I wouldn't mind seeing a comic actually come out of it. Yeah, or a mini run or something.
Well, they had World of Krypton several years back, but it kind of stuck closer to the origin stories of Superman. But this is better.
Yeah. Well, to see the grandparents and everything of Superman, the mother and the grandmother of Zod, it's an interesting take on it.
And by the way, Zod is killing it. Zod is killing it. He is a superior bad guy.
Is the black guy that I see in the previous thing, is that Zod?
Yeah, he's.
Okay.
I don't believe they could have found a better one to portray. Mm-hmm. They'd have to look awful hard.
That's his Terrence Stamp, but I seen him until now.
Yeah. And this guy, like I say, he's knocked the roll out of the park. He's he's a bad guy that you can sort of sympathize with because he's doing what he's doing for a reason.
In his mind, he sees it as being right.
Am I the only one that's seeing him not doing the right thing? I'm telling you, this dude's got an alternative motive.
Oh,
you know.
absolutely. But
Yeah.
he still believes that what he's doing is the right thing.
He's like Dr. Doom, and he just
Yeah, I guess you
Magneto.
put it that way.
they just
He's doing what he's doing what he thinks is right.
He's doing what he
Yeah.
thinks is the right thing, even though we all know that it's not going to be.
Because I have a bad feeling shit's going to hit the proverbial fan, and it's going all go downhill here in a few.
Which woman were you talking about on there that was such a badass?
Oh, what is her name? That blonde head.
light the blonde.
Yeah.
Nissa, is it Nissa? I can't remember.
Is that her name? Nancy?
I think so.
Nissa, but I can't remember the last name.
Well, her and Superman's grandpa had a baby. Yeah, it's
That's kind of
Superman's dad.
throwing things off. What's this baby?
no.
What's this baby gonna be? That's a big one. What's that?
Well, because they're leading this up to that Zod is of the House of El too.
Yeah.
Because Superman's grandpa is his dad.
Yeah.
And it's got a good twist to it because I believe that the baby with Nissa is going to wind up being Superman's dad or Superman's grandpa.
Do you think so?
I think so.
I think it's Nissa Vex. I can't remember.
Yeah.
The last name, something like that.
Her dad was Darren.
Yeah.
Was.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not going to give anything away about that. That was pretty interesting.
Yeah.
So this has so far been better than, say, Arrow or Flash, because
Yes.
as much as I like those series,
Yes.
they just got too dull. It was new season, oh, bad guy, can't beat him, go the whole time, beat him at the end of the series. It just rinse and repeat. The Flash was where there was like, he finally got fast enough to beat this guy, and now Spice.
Well, this
show is Arrowverse crossover good, start to finish.
Well, you're not having to deal with just one enemy at a time.
There's a lot of different things going on.
Yeah, there's so many different variables you got to contend with.
My wife came in and saw me sitting there watching it, and I binge watched season 1 just as soon as it hit the DC app. I sat down and I started on it. I thought, well, I'll just watch 1 or 2 episodes and I'll get up and do something else. I watched the entire season in one day. And she said, she came in about episode 6 and she said, what are you doing? I said, I'm watching this show. This kid's got a lot of shit going on. And it hadn't stopped. I mean, he's still trying to do the right thing, even though everything else is against him.
Well, you get to see him develop and
Yeah.
mature. He starts off as, well, like all of us, a young punk,
Rash.
and then you see him evolving.
In the beginning, he was out after, pursuit of power. That's what he was trying to do, was increase his
Stature.
yeah. And then the next thing you know, when he finds out that, one of his distant relatives is going to be the greatest hero that the universe has ever known,
Batman.
he starts resisting. Huh?
I suppose you have through something.
I was going to poke the bear a little.
And when he comes over this table, I'm liable to help him. I'll cross on over. You just rent the whole flow of the show.
Yeah, we really get good discussion.
Yeah.
You suck.
I know this.
But, you can't discount the other original shows on the DC app right now. And I hope that Marvel does something like this. I mean, I hope that they pull an app out that's affordable like the DC app is, where you can watch the old cartoons.
Well, what do you think about the rumors going around that they're going to be canceling the DC app?
I don't think they'll cancel it.
It's not going to get canceled. Warner Brothers, the really big studio,
Warner Brothers.
yeah, they are going to have their own app, and through that app, they're saying that they're probably just going to integrate the DC app into it, along with all their other streaming things, which is like the Adult Swim cartoon line from Cartoon Network, the Cartoon Network shows, a few other actual TV series, like the channels like TBS kind of stuff like that, almost.
You'll still be able
So,
to get it, but you'll just
yeah.
have to go through a different.
Because
Hey, did you see how easy that was?
Yeah.
Yeah, it took like 2 seconds.
Yeah.
And I got
But,
just as much information out of him as I did you,
it's like
with less wasted brain cells.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Trust me. Yeah.
But
Thank you.
my Crunchyroll app does the same thing. It's part of an overall thing, but you can still have it.
Would it hurt your feelings too much if I said I don't care?
Do you care?
Do you
if it
ever?
hurts?
That's true. Can we get back to talking about Batman on Krypton?
Anyway,
There are rumors Marvel series are going to do. I just don't know where they're going to put them. Are they going to put them on an app? They're going to do a Black Widow or something like that.
They're going to do,
Hawkeye, where he's training his daughter or something like that.
yeah, they're going to do a Hawkeye series. They're going to do a Loki series. Like he goes back
Scarlet
in
Witch
time.
and Vision.
Yeah, but
Which Envision-
do you think that they made a mistake canceling their stuff off of Netflix until they set this up?
I think the mistake was
Because The Punisher was good.
Yeah.
Daredevil was good.
Jessica Jones was good.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you watched any of it or not, but Jessica Jones was good.
Now, I wasn't a big fan of the Defenders.
The Iron Fist.
Yeah.
So,
Maybe
Iron
wait for
Fist, I
Iron Fist.
wanted to like Iron Fist. I really did. Danny Rand is such a good character in the books.
It's just very dull compared to the other series that they have done. So,
It's stupid.
yeah.
I mean, they take what is possibly one of the best characters in Marvel and reduce him to this bumbling, pretty much idiot who doesn't even know what his own powers are.
We got a name for that.
Jonathan.
Yeah, Aquaman did. Or Jonathan. Either one. Either one you prefer.
I never saw it, so I'm not going to take your word on that.
I mean,
I like the character.
now,
he should be fighting ninjas, and he doesn't even do that correctly.
but I did like the couple times that they put him and Luke Cage together.
Now, see, I did like the Luke Cage standalone series. That was interesting.
But when they put Danny Rand and Luke Cage together fighting, that went pretty good. But that, I mean, that was the only time. But,
Well, why didn't that cross over into the Defenders? Because they was there together too.
well,
But then you had on Daredevil, which standing alone by itself was good. But in the mix with that, it was
because
Right.
they were trying to put too much into the Defenders show. They only had 4 episodes to try to do a year's worth of.
Kind of rushed it too
Yeah,
much.
they did.
Kind of like Tom King done with Batman.
Yeah. Anybody saying anything?
Maybe something issues. Batman didn't get married. Pretty much all Tom King's runs amounted to.
Legion of Superheroes. And tell me if you think I'm wrong there, Professor. It looks to me like the way that they're bringing this in before they start the full run, that it looks like they're going to pull John Kent in to be Superboy for the Legion of Superheroes.
That's what I believe. I think Superman 15, we're going to have him show up. Of course, I think they're going to ask him to join them. He's going to join them, and like we was talking about, the old Superboy and the Legion of Superheroes.
Yeah.
I'm excited for that.
I am too. And JSA.
Yeah.
Uh,
A lot of people want that back.
Yeah, JSA should be good. I mean, those were good characters back in the day and should continue to be if they're well written.
Like we was talking earlier, going back to the Legion of Superheroes, so, we all agreed that Superboy going away and maturing would be what benefited that whole run.
Yeah.
And I believe that John Kent will make a fantastic Superboy for Legion of Superheroes. He's already been with his dad. He's been with his grandpa. He's got the he's built the maturity by being with those two, but he's still got the heart of his mother. So I believe he will make a good addition to that team.
I still haven't had a chance to read anything of the Legion of Superheroes, but I did look up their roster of who they've had throughout the years. The one thing that stuck out with me, though, is apparently Phantom Girls. She was a part of the roster a few decades ago. I think she was in there in the 80s. But currently her character is with the Terrifics. Does that kind of mean that they might end the Terrifics to bring her in, or are
So
they?
it's not Phantom Lady in something? There's a difference. Phantom Lady was with JSA. And the Phantom Lady, Phantom Girl.
Yeah, there was Phantom Girl because it was
I don't read
the same. Yeah, it was the same exact character being on it, same home planet and everything. Ours, and I never would have known. I just thought she was like a new character they might have introduced for the Terrifics line. I didn't know anything about her, and
She's been around for
Curious how she got
years.
around
yeah. So I don't know if that means eventually they'll bleed her out of the Terrifics into that series to maybe give them something else. But
Well, they got so many characters they can use.
yeah, they have a huge roster just from what I looked at.
I like the original. Some of those original.
Not as big as the Avengers.
Everybody's an Avenger.
He was Stingray.
We didn't want to see Legion of Superheroes movie. I'd like to see it. I like seeing Legion of Superheroes movie.
I was excited about JSA.
I'm hoping that they bring Mon-El back,
Yes, you gotta have Mon-El.
and that would be a fantastic counterpoint
Yeah.
to Superboy.
That's what they did before. They had
Yeah.
the old days.
I even enjoyed the Legion of Superheroes cartoon that only ran for 2 seasons, but Timberwolf, Wildfire, I mean, they need to bring those characters
Colossal
back.
Boy, Pharaoh,
Yeah.
Cosmic Boy, Saturn World, Lightning.
Lightning Lad. Yeah.
All the originals. Like
Yeah,
were always
They weren't the original team.
Yeah.
Because the original team was just, 3 members? I don't remember what I read online. There was originally just 3 of them, and it slowly built up more and more throughout
I know
time.
those 3 showed up on Smallville. The 3 did on
Yeah.
that show. But the original ones, yeah, there's so many more. There's a big roster. So the original, the first few years, those are the best ones. Those are the ones I'm wanting to see in this series. Yeah.
And hopefully they'll put a writer on it that'll do justice to it, because that and Teen Titans, 2 of my favorite books of all time. I'm actually a hoarder when it comes to those. I don't care how many copies of each issue I have, as long as I have them. So I'm kind of that way about those.
But speaking of Teen Titans, I know it's kind of off subject, but I'm excited about the Teen Titans Go teaming up with the Teen Titans animated.
Probably the only reason why I see that movie is just because of the original Titans.
I like the Teen Titans Go. Well, that's one of my little man's fault too. He watches the movie at least once a day.
A Teen Titans Go, me and my now 7-year-old son used to sit and watch that and just laugh, because I would get tickled watching him get tickled over it. And it was,
And they even likes watching Teen Titans Go. I mean, she's,
Well, they even threw Stan Lee, cameo
Yeah.
for Stan Lee in the movie. That was awesome.
The original series had like weird humor in it and everything, and I have tried watching a couple episodes of Teen Titans Go. I just can't get into it. But I would watch an episode of that before I would watch any of the abomination that they call Powerpuff Girls reboot. Because holy crap, that was horrible.
yeah, we're not talking about Powerpuff Girls. We're not doing that.
Why do you brought that up? You're sitting around with a group of guys and you're thinking about Powerpuff Girls.
Is there something you need to tell us?
It's 2019. It's all right to love anybody, man. Just saying.
Okay, one of the directors from Batman the Animated Series directed most of the episodes of the Powerpuff Girls series.
the original series
And
or the.
And I liked his work. Have you never seen the character of him from Powerpuff Girls? That guy's absolutely terrifying. The show has some.
I honestly don't believe I've ever seen a single episode of Powerpuff Girls, and I've got 2 girls.
I have a 13-year-old daughter. Yes, people, I do have a lot of kids. But I have a 13-year-old daughter who I did have to.
This is the competition, Daniel.
I did have to sit and watch several episodes of Powerpuff Girls.
Well, now I've had to watch my share of stuff I didn't want to watch, but
I'm not saying that I enjoyed it, but I'm saying that I did it to spend time with my daughter.
You didn't get into Momo Jojo.
No.
She called him
Momo Jojo.
Momo Jojo.
That monkey or whatever.
Mojo Jojo.
I
Mojo.
have no idea.
He said Momo did.
Yeah, he said Momo.
That hurt your feelings, didn't it? Now, be honest, just a little bit. When he said Momo, messed that name up. It hurt your feelings a little bit. Right?
Just call me off
Right.
guard.
Look at
But no, I mean, I will say I'm a fan of the Powerpuff Girls. I am man enough to admit that.
I'm not, because I screwed the name up.
was not expecting it to go there.
I did have some Powerpuff Girls, and
But no.
went home with my granddaughter.
No, what it is for me, it's like Cartoon Network. They're at a standstill. All the shows that I watched when I was like 11 to like 15 on their broadcast, they had Johnny Bravo, they had Dexter's Laboratory, Courage the Cowardly Dog, Ed and Eddie, Powerpuff Girls, Teen Titans, and they bring them back with this stupid humor, horrible art presentation, and they try to play it off as, oh, we're rebooting it, it's a new series. I understand Teen Titans Go, it has its fan base, it did bring back the original cast, which I do appreciate.
Well, let me stop you. Welcome to real life, because that's what they done with us in Looney Tunes.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Tom and Jerry.
I'm sensing a note of bitterness coming out of him because, you know, the shows that he watched when he was a kid, he doesn't find as funny or as entertaining as he did because he grew up and now they're not as good.
His mind has grown. It just, the rest of him hasn't caught up yet.
No, I still love the original shows. If you give me an episode of Ed and Eddie right now, the original one, I'll still watch it. I'll still find it entertaining.
Well, apparently you're watching the new stuff too.
How did we go from talking about Krypton to talking about Ed and Eddie?
That is a good question.
I mean, how did we make
We
this
took the wrong turn at Albuquerque.
Yes.
Anyway,
Animation point of view.
like that even counts.
Well, like I had told a certain special someone that had commented on one of our YouTube channels, we are rednecks on comics, not rednecks on movies, not rednecks on cartoons, not rednecks on animation, rednecks on comics. If you got a problem with anything that has happened, take it up with the person responsible for it. Don't blast us. Just saying.
Why do you point at YouTube?
Yeah.
Oh. I thought you were pointing at Mark. But no, there was a Powerpuff Girls comics, I think.
I don't let it bug me.
Yeah, but you know, you're gonna run your mouth. At least be man enough, woman enough to put your real name there instead of Star Sunshine Pinkle Butter. You know, whatever it was. I mean, Lord mercy.
What was that name again?
Star Sprinkle Peanut Butter, Pinkle Butter, whatever I said.
Got sunshine.
Well, whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Way off the.
But yeah, anyway.
we're going to try to do it this way from now on where y'all can see it as it's happening. Plus, it'll be on there for you to watch later. Hopefully, it'll work out well this way. And we won't be here until midnight, 1 a.m.
Yeah.
downloading.
And I like being able to interact with them.
Yeah.
People can get on there.
Want to appreciate, say thank you to Albert, you know, for
Yeah.
corresponding with us. If you like it, give us a thumbs up. Let us know. comments. You know, like I
Like
said,
and share.
we do
You
this.
start talking about the Teen Titans Go movie, and that's what got me started on it.
We don't care.
That's what got us all the power comes over.
You have been sitting there that whole freaking time trying
On
to
what?
trying to
Yes.
point the blame
I
to
was
somebody
going
besides
back.
yourself.
I was going back in my mind. What started the whole thing?
So awesome.
But yeah, we thank you. And you know, if you got any ideas, requests, drop a comment.
Like and
Buttons.
share.
Like and share. The more we get, the better we get.
Yeah, hopefully before long.
You would know nothing about that, Sean.
You guys might age like wine, but I'm aging like milk.
I don't even know about this anymore.
He's just waiting for that one ply toilet paper.
Woo, that felt good. And with that, we'll see you next week.
Good night, y'all.